It was a Tuesday, just like any other. The clock on the wall read 3:07 a.m. My shift had another 3 hours to go, stacking boxes, moving pallets. Standard graveyard shift boredom. Then, without a sound, the lights flickered. Not a power surge, not a brownout, just a stutter. And when they came back on, the clock read 3:07 a.m. I checked my watch, dead. The phone in my pocket, dead. The supervisor's radio, static. But the clock, 3:07 a.m. It had been 3:07 a.m. for a solid hour, I was sure of it. Time had just stopped. Or maybe it had gone backward. So what was really happening in that cavernous, sterile warehouse? That's what we're digging into today. My name is Alex. I work nights. Specifically, I work the graveyard shift loading and unloading at a massive distribution center on the edge of town. It's mostly quiet, a rhythm of forklifts beeping, the hum of the conveyor belt, and the occasional groan from the aging building itself. I'm single, live alone in a small apartment above a pizza place, and honestly, this job pays the bills. It's not glamorous, but it's predictable. Or at least, it was predictable until that Tuesday. The warehouse itself is enormous. Miles of shelving, stacked floor to ceiling with everything imaginable. It's a labyrinth, lit by harsh fluorescent tubes that hummed, creating long, distorted shadows. The prevailing theory among the night crew is that the place is just old. Old wiring, old machinery, old structural quirks. But this was different. The lights didn't flicker out, they froze, and with them, everything else. I remember seeing a forklift operator, a guy named Terry. In the middle of backing up, he was stuck in that one motion, frozen like a statue. The forklift's backup alarm, which usually screams like a banshee, silence. Complete, utter silence, except for my own breathing. Panic wants to set in, right? I'm alone in a dead building where time has apparently taken a coffee break. I tried my phone. Nothing. My cheap digital watch from the gas station counter, also dead, not a single digit lit. But the big digital clock above the main exit bay, the one synced to some external master clock, it stubbornly insisted it was 3:07 a.m. And it had been for what felt like eternity. I called out, yelling for anyone, but my voice seemed swallowed by the sudden quiet. I swear, even the air felt heavy, stagnant. After what felt like an hour, maybe two, there was a faint pop, like a distant balloon bursting, and the lights flickered back to normal. Terry's forklift lurched backward, his alarm screaming. The big clock jumped ahead, ticking as if nothing had happened. My watch suddenly sputtered to life. 5:15 a.m. Supervisor called on the radio. Everything was back to normal, except for the gnawing unease in my gut. This wasn't just a power flicker. The fact that multiple digital devices simultaneously died and then resurrected, the frozen forklift operator, the persistent, unwavering 3:07 a.m., these aren't symptoms of a simple electrical fault. The official report, when they eventually filed one, blamed a massive, localized EMP burst from an unspecified source, perhaps a solar flare, or some experimental military tech gone awry. That's the explanation that lets everyone sleep at night. But an EMP that precisely targeted electronics while leaving mechanical processes and the human occupants unaffected for a specific duration, and then vanished without a trace? It sounds convenient, doesn't it? I've talked to a few of the other guys. Most brush it off. Weird stuff happens at night, man. But a couple of them, the ones who were actually there and saw the frozen forklift, they've got that same look in their eyes I do, a mix of fear and confusion. One older guy, been there 30 years, told me a story about the land the warehouse is built on. Apparently, it was an old Native American burial ground, or used for some kind of ceremonial site. He said that sometimes, when the veil between worlds is thin, things get strange. He talked about feeling watched, about seeing shadows move on their own. He claimed it was a pocket where time didn't flow right. Fringe theories, of course. But even as I dismiss them, I can't shake the feeling of that unnerving stillness. What are the more grounded, rational possibilities? Well, we have to consider a collective hallucination or a shared delusion. The stress of a graveyard shift, the monotony, the specific lighting and acoustics of a huge warehouse, these can play tricks on the mind. Perhaps a momentary atmospheric anomaly caused the lights to flicker, and the shared experience, combined with the inherent eeriness of the place, created a story that everyone believed happened. The dead electronics could have been a genuine but coincidental surge that reset them. The frozen forklift. Maybe Terry just flinched, or the forklift had a momentary mechanical hiccup, and the story grew in the telling. It's the "it never happened" explanation, but it's often the most likely. Then there are the theories that fall somewhere in the middle. Could it have been a brief, localized electrical event we can't fully identify? A rare atmospheric phenomenon causing a temporary disruption, not quite an EMP, but something similar that scrambled unsophisticated digital displays. Sometimes, geological activity can cause strange electrical readings, or even localized magnetic field fluctuations. If the warehouse sits on certain types of rock formations, perhaps a minor tremor or a shift in the Earth's magnetic field could have caused the temporary chaos. It's a stretch, but within the realm of known physics, even if the specifics are hard to pin down, it would explain the dead electronics and the lights without invoking ghosts. The frozen forklift would still be a bit of a wild card, but maybe a combination of electrical interference and a sensitive mechanism tripped it up. And then, of course, there are the more out-there explanations. The idea of a temporal anomaly, a bubble where time itself warped or paused. This is where you start venturing into science fiction territory. Some theories suggest that certain locations on Earth might possess unusual energetic properties that can interfere with the fabric of space-time. This could be due to geological anomalies, ley lines, or even the residual energy from past events. If this warehouse happened to be built on such a spot, a surge of energy could theoretically create a brief pocket where time behaved erratically. On the other hand, you have the supernatural explanations from the old-timer, a haunting, a dimensional bleed-through, the land itself rebelling against its modern use. These are the explanations that tap into our deepest fears of the unknown. So what can we actually say? We have a personal account, corroborated by a few others, of a deeply unsettling experience involving the simultaneous failure of electronics and a perceived pause in time. The official explanation is a localized EMP, which is plausible but doesn't perfectly account for every detail, especially the synchronized timing and the subsequent revival of devices. The psychological explanation, while strong, doesn't fully address the specific shared details like the frozen forklift and the exact time. The more exotic theories offer narrative explanations but lack concrete evidence. What remains is the powerful, lived experience of those who were there. The feeling of being outside of time, in a place that suddenly felt alien and unpredictable, a place that defied the everyday laws of physics. That feeling is real, even if the cause remains shrouded in mystery. What gets me about this is how easily our everyday reality can be shattered. We take for granted that time moves forward, that our phones will work, that the lights will stay on. This event, whether you believe it was a freak EMP, a geological quirk, or something else entirely, reminds us that there are forces at play, both within and beyond our understanding, that can make the world feel incredibly strange. Imagine being there, locked in that silent, frozen moment. What would you do? What would you believe? It's a potent reminder of how much we rely on order, and how unsettling it is when that order breaks down, even for just a few minutes. It makes you wonder what else is lurking just beneath the surface of our normal, everyday lives. If you enjoy deep dives into mysteries like this, hit like, subscribe, and tell me your theory in the comments.